Let me begin by warmly thanking our Serbian member committee for organizing this event and for their dedicated partnership within the World Energy Council community. Serbia is a valued member of our European family, and your continued engagement reflects the spirit that has driven this council for more than a century, bringing people together, fostering open dialogue, and connecting national priorities with the broader global agenda. We meet at a moment when energy is no longer solely an economical or technical issue. As today's session, a clean, secure, and competitive energy union so aptly captures, energy has become deeply strategic, political, and societal. It is shaped by geopolitics, climate impacts, technological change, and social expectations, as well as by a continuous energy crisis that increasingly feels like the new normal in our ever more complex world. Europe's energy sector progresses in the framework of two defining realities. First, a high reliance on energy imports, mainly fossil fuels, which creates external dependencies and huge risks. We suffered this after the invasion of Ukraine, and we continue to do so in the current energy crisis coming from the Middle East. And secondly, a global leadership position on climate action and energy transition, mainly focused on the deployment of renewable energies in the electricity sector. This combination means every serious strategy must keep the energy trilemma in view: energy security, environmental sustainability, and affordability and competitiveness. The direction is clear. We need to keep all three advancing together without letting any single priority crowd out the others. In this environment, progress does not follow a neat linear plan. It depends on actionable foresight, flexible policies, and sustained collaboration across borders, sectors, and generations. And the new word in this context is resilience. How Europe can be better positioned to have a more competitive, secure, and sustainable energy sector in this new context. Countries around the world differ on whether they need to import energy or they can produce it locally. This is one of the most important elements that shapes national energy policies. The US is today the largest exporter of oil and gas, and is becoming a petrostate, focused on energy dominance. China, India, and Europe need large amounts of energy, and this implies huge amounts of imports every year and huge risks as the global order tumbles. China has clear objectives of growing local renewables and electrifying the entire economy, with a clear objective to become an electrostate. Europe has one of the highest energy dependencies in the world, as its reliance on energy imports reaches around 60% of its primary energy consumption. The most strategic shift Europe can make is from imported to homegrown energy. Import dependency is a clear vulnerability. It exposes households and industries to geopolitics and to the structural volatility of commodity markets. Recent events have reminded us of this vividly. After the deep energy crisis in 2022, European natural gas and oil prices spiked again in early March 2026 as the conflict escalated in the Middle East. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen warned that the EU paid an estimated additional 500 million euros per day importing energy just in the first 2 months of the Middle East crisis. We often describe crises as shocks, but when shocks repeat, they reveal a pattern, and the rational response is to redesign the system. Analysts have compared the 2020s and the 1970s successive shocks, and they have discovered that they don't impact all energies equally. Those energies that are secure, reliable, and efficient will be better off. The crucial difference today is that scalable, cost-competitive alternatives to unreliable energy dependency exist. In the 1970s, after the double energy crisis, demand for fossil fuels began to decouple from GDP, while electricity remained closely aligned. These shocks tend to favor secure and efficient energy sources, reinforcing the momentum behind energy transition and domestic energy production development. As Fatih Birol, Executive Director of the International Energy Agency, put it recently, the vase is broken, the damage is done. The perception of risk and reliability will change. Governments will review their energy strategies. There will be a significant boost to renewables and nuclear power, and a further shift toward a more electrified future. Resiliency is not only about changing supply. It is also about using energy better. Improving energy productivity reduces total final energy demand, eases grid and infrastructure pressure, and makes energy policy targets more achievable. New technologies sit at the center of every credible pathway because they multiply efficiency. Renewables and demand-side electrification technologies are around 3 times more efficient because they avoid the conversion losses embedded in combustion. That efficiency is not abstract. It is a resilient benefit, a competitiveness benefit, and a consumer benefit. When we adopt more efficient technologies in transport, heating, and industrial processes, we cut exposure to external shocks and market volatility, and we reduce the total energy needed to deliver the same energy services. In parallel, we should be pragmatic. Where these new technologies are not possible or economic, Europe will still need green and low carbon molecules. But the easiest direction is electrifying because it is the most scalable and efficient option. A key difference between today and past energy crises is that the alternatives are now scalable and cost competitive. Costs for new technologies have fallen rapidly, and adoption follows S-curves, which means progress can look slow until it becomes suddenly fast. The best examples are PV, batteries, and electric vehicles. This creates a strategic opportunity for Europe. The transition is not only about the environment, it is also a lever to strengthen industrial competitiveness, foster innovation, and secure high-quality jobs for the future. But it also creates a strategic risk. If Europe cannot deliver at pace, the economic and industrial value will be captured elsewhere. A WEC-style, evidence-based view also recognizes constraints and trade-offs. Nuclear remains a low-emission, locally produced source in many systems. And the debate is not ideological. It is about timelines, cost, public acceptance, and system needs. And for sectors that are genuinely hard to electrify, parts of heavy industry, long-distance shippings, and aviation uses, Europe will need a credible strategy for clean molecules alongside electrification. The solution has no silver bullets. Portfolio thinking with a clear hierarchy of what scale fastest. We need to think also about building the infrastructure of the future. Power grids are the backbone of the new energy system in Europe. This is why power grids will attract the largest investments in the sector. They determine how quickly new technologies can scale. Flexibility is inseparable from grid modernization. Storage, demand-side response, and dispatchable low-carbon capacity are becoming core infrastructure, not optional add-ons. And planning matters. If investments are not anticipated and approved with long horizons, delivery simply cannot land in time. Affordability has moved from a background concern to a first-order political and industrial constraint. Policy is increasingly judged by whether it delivers visible cost relief and competitiveness while sustaining investment in resilience and modernization. The March 2026 gas spike underlines a simple point. Volatile gas costs have great impact on power prices. This points to a practical direction. Reducing exposure to imported energy by scaling local, homegrown electricity makes electricity more economically attractive. Also, reviewing taxes and levies that disproportionately weigh on electricity adds to this objective. A good example is my country. Spain went from having a high influence of fossil fuel generation on power prices in the first half of 2019 to the lowest among gas-reliant countries in the same period this year. This had a clear impact, reducing the cost of electricity in the national market, becoming the most competitive one in the European region. After the Nordics, we have also a large amount of home production. No European country can deliver resilience alone. Cross-border flows and experiences help optimize and improve national systems. This is also where the World Energy Council plays a unique role as a neutral, trusted platform for dialogue and knowledge exchange. Let me close with 3 messages. First, Europe's transition is about more than the climate. It is a strategic lever to reduce external dependency and strengthen competitiveness. Second, crises are painful, but they widen what is politically possible. The choice is whether we use that opportunity to lock in solutions that end dependency, or whether we spend it patching up our vulnerabilities. Third, delivery will define credibility. With 2030 approaching, we must strengthen the delivery spine, grids, flexibility, and planning, and protect affordability as a condition of public consent. Let me thank you once again for being part of this community, for your leadership, your openness, and your commitment to collaboration.